Week 2 of Oscar Pistorius on the witness stand, and it's certainly a very lonely place to be, as he found out once again as he struggled through his testimony today. He couldn't remember his own evidence. He kept contradicting himself, sounding very unsure. He said he wanted to spend the weekend resting for today's mental torture, but it didn't seem to do him much good. He still performed very dismally on the stand today. Gerrie Nel was back for another round of savaging after spending the weekend perusing the court record to look for further inconsistencies. A couple of key points came out today. First of all, Gerrie Nel was insistent, and we're starting to get a sense of what the prosecution's argument is that Oscar Pistorius shot Reeva Steenkamp not because he mistook her for a burglar, but because they had an argument.
I'm saying, and it's a state's case, Mr. Pistorius, that she wanted to leave and that you weren't sleeping. You were both awake.
That's not correct, my lady. It's untrue.
And that there was an argument.
And one of the key pieces of evidence he brought to weigh in on this was the pair of jeans that was lying on the floor. Now, Oscar Pistorius agreed that Reeva Steenkamp is very tidy. She would pack all her clothes, including her undergarments, in her overnight bag. And the only item remaining was this pair of jeans. Nel suggested that the reason the jeans were on the floor is that Reeva Steenkamp was trying to put them on. She wanted to leave when they were having this argument, and then had to flee to the toilet because Oscar Pistorius was chasing after her with his gun, and that's when the shooting incident occurred. He also raised the fact that there was blood spatter on the duvet. Now, Pistorius has persistently maintained that the duvet was on the bed. He's trying to give the impression that he got up in a nice, orderly manner, went to check the balcony, bring in the fans, and that's when he heard the noise. What Nel is trying to suggest is that there was an argument, the duvet was sort of ripped or thrown on the floor.
Don't you want to admit, Mr. Pistorius, that at least you made a mistake, that duvet was on the floor?
I don't remember the duvet being on the floor, my lady.
Then there was another exchange between Pistorius and Nel when Nel wanted to know what exactly he had shouted.
I screamed, I said, "Get the fuck out of my house! Get the fuck out of my house!"
When he'd finished this, Nel then said to Pistorius, who broke down once again sobbing, we had a number of these adjournments today, when they came back, he put it to Pistorius that he had indeed said those words, but that they were shouted at Reeva Steenkamp, that he was shouting at her to get out of the house because they were having an argument.
The theme for the day is tailoring your evidence. I'm putting it to you, that's what you're doing. You're tailoring your evidence.
A lot of these kinds of moments throughout the day, again, more damaging testimony for Oscar Pistorius and another very, very poor performance on the witness stand.
Quite religion.